Brandon here from B2R Investing and Financial Talk. Looking forward to this series. Building these two houses side by side. I'm going to do a series, a multi-part series where I go over many of the financial aspects to it and showing the power of building and what it can do for your financial future as a build to rent, and seeing, can we save money on these side-by-side builds here today. I pray that you have stewardship of the knowledge and money you're entrusted with. Nailing financial freedom, one build at a time. All right, here we go. I wanted to get some video of the very beginning of the start before they clear, just so everybody can see the before and after. So they're just getting started. This is 2 lots, and we've got a big post oak tree here. It's a multi-trunk live oak. I'm so excited about being able to keep this. And, you know, just getting started doing the clearing today. We've got rain coming with the weekend. But seeing how the efficiencies of building 2 at the same time, you know, just one little thing I thought of. Literally, we've got this porta-john here. We only have to have 1 for this site. Well, that alone is saving us $800 on this site. So normally you'd have to have 1 on each build site, and the budget on it runs about $800 during the build. Well, because we're building side by side, we only have to have 1. That alone is going to save us $800 on both builds. So I just want to get a quick early video and show the before they clear it all out, because they're just getting started right now. So the beauty of this one, these 2 lots, is they're relatively, the ground is flat, so the runoff where the watershed is good. Also looking at the dirt, doesn't seem to be any rocks in there. It could be, you know, on one of the previous builds we hit some rock when we were building out the pad, and at least at this moment doesn't seem to be any rock, and that'll save or at least prevent extra costs. But these lots do have quite a bit of cedars, but we've got a few hardwoods, and that's what we're most excited about in clearing out this lot. This group that we use, these guys that clear these lots, these are the people we've been using for the last 3 builds, and they're going to be doing these 2, and we're already talking. You know, I've got some other land that we're working on right now for next fall, and but these lots are looking good, fairly level. Doesn't seem to be where we're going to have to do any retaining walls at all. The slope's good, but we're getting started on this project, just showing the before, and then I'll do a walkthrough after it's all cleared out, and you'll be able to see the trees that we're able to keep. We've got some trees on the back, and up one big post oak, multi-trunk post oak over here on the front corner of the second lot. So just going through the process of doing this contractor, he's giving us a better price on clearing the lot and building out the pads, because it's 2 houses on the, you know, side by side. So we're getting some more additional expense savings on even just clearing the lot and building the 2 pads for the 2 foundations. So here's where we're at this moment, and I'll do some filming later today when we're finishing up, hopefully today or maybe tomorrow, where we can really do a walkthrough and see all the trees that we've been able to keep. We're looking at this big multi-trunk live oak here. Hopefully we're going to start working on it here soon and see how much of this we can keep on the corner. You can see here we've got the pad sites built, and actually the form boards are put up. The next step that I'll be doing is getting a form board survey, which is making sure the offsets on the setbacks on the lot are correct before they pour the concrete and before they start digging for all the plumbing. We want to make sure that the boards we've got set here exactly where they need to be on the property line. You can see here between the two lots, we had to cut in this lot just a little bit. It cut it down by about a foot. Hopefully you can see in this video, we created a little swale here. We're wanting to make sure that the water doesn't go towards the foundation on this lower one, but that it'll channel to the back and not hit the foundation. One of the things that I loved about this lot is what I've been talking about. We've got these trees here. One of the things I was just noticing, we've built up the dirt on these two trees here. I'm going to be working on digging this away from the trunks because you don't want to suffocate the tree. So I'm probably going to pull some of this dirt away from the trunk to make sure that they don't die. But that's the little things that I learned from just gardening. But my favorite thing is, I know y'all can see this, I've talked about it, but now you can see it clearly as we've cleared away all the underbrush. This is the live oak that we know is with the rings from one of the cuts of the limbs. This live oak looks to be over 100 years old. It's probably 60 foot tall, and just a beautiful multi-trunk live oak. But we pushed these houses up a couple of feet to try to give the backyards a little bit larger. These lots are only 50 by 75. So we moved them up a couple of feet closer to the road. Hopefully you can see that swale a little bit, and it gives this backyard, we added a couple of feet to the backyard. But this is the final clearing of the lots, and now the form boards have been set. This next week, I will be getting the form board survey to make sure everything's correct, and then they'll begin digging for all the utilities for the foundation. So look forward to this, and love all these trees that are back here. This is the first time. So this tree will cover the morning sun, and these trees in the back here will give the house shade for the evening sun. Okay, let's get started. At the top, of course, I have the address number of the two builds, and I want to go through a lot of the numbers, at least initially, off this lot clearing and pad site build. What I love the most, and I've said it multiple times in this series and of this initial videoing of these two lots, is that we've been able to keep that multi-trunked live oak that's on the front right corner of 5720. And so we're going to do our best to protect it as we put in the water and sewer, so we don't cut many of the roots, and that we have this wonderful live oak that from the trunk size and what we've looked at, just the trim of one of the limbs, this live oak was at least 100 years old. So that would put it in the early 1900s when this first live oak was established. So it's exciting, but I want to go over the numbers and show you where we're starting, and let's just see what happens throughout this build. And I'm going to do this multi-part series going through the build, trying to explain a few of the things that I do and how, and then even at the end I'll have a interview with my general contractor, my builder. We'll go over the whole series, and then the final one will be all the numbers and how it does financially with a renter in it. Hope you'll enjoy this series throughout this spring and early in summer, and learn a lot from it, and maybe you consider the build to rent if you can find the dirt for the right price and the right build price. So here we get going. The lot, let's just start with 5720. This lot I purchased on the MLS, and what I'm looking for, the metrics, I know the rents in this area, so I want to start there. The rents in this area, very conservatively projecting between $2,050 to $2,100 is an absolute reasonable projection. That's not max market. Max market, people trying to max it out, you're looking at $2,200, $2,250. But where market is $2,050 to $2,100 on any of these, and they continually trade at that rental price. So what I do when I look at the lots is I want to be 100% of annualized rents or less. For these projects, I would put it around $25,000. And what I'm trying to do is get it as low, below that number as possible. And most of these, like this one, that's roughly 65%, 70%, somewhere in that range of annualized rent. So I was willing to pay that those numbers work. And what we're expecting on these projects to build, I've been building this floor plan in this area. This will be my fourth build of this same floor plan. And so we've tweaked it over the builds. And what a lot of times happens is they always say it takes 3 builds to perfect the floor plan. And I think we've got it very dialed in of exactly what a renter or a person that lives in that area, what they want, the right sizing on all the rooms, the right features to it. And I think we've dialed it in really good. So this lot, 17,000, our projected build is around 207,000. But I've noticed the market has changed quite a bit on pricing, and I think we're going to be able to beat that number at least a reasonable amount. And that's going to be the exciting thing through this series, is how much do we get under budget, because I'm seeing materials getting less. And of course, the contractors, there's not as many builds going on. Those contractors are getting very hungry. Plus, we're building side by side, and there are some efficiencies, and we can get some price breaks even with our different subcontractors. So on this one, like I said, 17,000, it's around 65-70%. I don't know the exact calculation of annualized rents. So with the guy that you saw in the videos clearing the lots, because he doesn't have to move his equipment per lot, it's all staying there, he was able to give us a little bit of savings, and we got a 10% savings on clearing the lot. And then what he also does is build up the pad site ready to put in form boards, the form boards for the foundation. Then we've got to get what's called a form board survey after that to make sure the offsets on the side setbacks, the back setbacks, and the front are all within alignment with the entity that granted us the build permit, be it a city or sometimes even a large HOA that's outside of city limits handles those things. We're making sure that we're within the guidelines. So he builds clears the lots, but also builds up the pads. But what I like about him, he and our builder and we all look at water flow. I did talk about it throughout the video, and you can see that other lot that's to the, I guess it'd be, for me, looking at the lots, it would be to the right. That builder cut into the lot and built way down, and you can see from that the watershed from the front into their garage. Heavy rain, the water would go right towards the house and right towards the garage, and even on that front corner. We looked at it, we always build up for our pads, and we shed the water away and then make sure we channel it the right way. We're not redirecting the water flow, but using the natural water flow and directing the water flow to the away from the house and to the sides and back out the back, the way we shaped these two lots. So we're building these for the long term. You'll see later other things like gutters. I'll talk about that. I'm doing this not just to make a quick buck, but I intend to keep these for decades, and I want to do these builds right, building up the pads so that the elevation of the foundation is higher than the natural water flow and flows the water away from the foundation. What we did see and what I like about these lots, it did end up having a little bit of rock underneath, but let me tell you, I might have a little bit of cost when they're digging the footers for the foundation, but it creates a more secure foundation building on that layer of rock underneath, a little bit of that rock, because you have less shifting of the ground. That rock, for the long term is a very good thing for these houses and the foundations. So we saved $750 off each one. I'll get, and 5718, explain this one. I got this one for $10,500. So we're less than 50% of annualized rents. It's closer to that 45%. I bought this one. This one was off the MLS. This one, I bought it at a tax auction. The first time I've ever done it. The county had a tax auction with past due taxes. I won that bid and got this lot for $10,500. So I'll have a little bit better numbers because I'm starting off almost, $6,500 less. So the $750, I got that $750. So that's the difference in the cost. I do only have, and like I said in the video, one porta-john, or porta-can is what I called it here on the board. I only have to have one. Well, that saves with the cost of the monthly rental and the builder's cost in there. It's about $900 total. I put it over here and I'll explain why, because I have a higher basis. I'm trying to, on those type of situations, even it out. So I put the porta-can cost over savings over here, saving that $900. We did have one hiccup, and I'm going to explain if we have any hiccups in our projects. They have done a change, the utility company's done a change, and they give a small allowance to put electricity there. And because this one didn't have the power pole, to set the power pole, it ended up costing me $1,500. So we're losing $1,500 on this lot. But I have $750, $900 on the porta-john, and then our blueprints. I don't have to do blueprints because I'm using the same floor plan. So I saved the $600. So right now we've saved more than the $1,500 extra cost, though we've paid $17,000 or an extra $6,500 on the lot. But I do know, stay with the series, we're already getting some initial numbers, both for the lumber and some other items. We're going to have some additional savings, and it looks like a very good time to build. And so good, I immediately bought another lot. And this won't be part of the series because we're just going to do it on these two lots side by side. But because the numbers are looking so good, I'm going to end up building a third one. It'll be about 2 months behind this project because the numbers are really looking good. But even at $207,000, if it stayed there, I will still make good numbers on the build to rent, which I will show at the very end of the series. So over here, like I said, I did the $750. I didn't do the porta-can. I'm going to put the cost of that one porta-john over here. So that's going to still be that same amount that I already budgeted. But I did save the $600 on the blueprints. So things are looking good, and I wanted to do this initial, I will always do an explanation after I do the videos at the project. I will come back to the office, and I love my new glass whiteboard. I bought a little bit bigger one and trying to give me more real estate. I like doing this on a whiteboard, and not making it so cold with spreadsheets, and being able to talk through it. I hope you enjoy this. Please like and subscribe. Write any questions you have, or maybe something you noticed, or questions you have about the build. I am trying to be an open book and share what I'm learning on this build to rent model, so that maybe you're open and less nervous about it as you're getting either, and I recommend getting a good GC, especially if it's your first time. This is a little bit more advanced strategy. If you've built a lot of houses maybe for yourself and have a good feel on that, you could be the general contractor on this. I'm choosing, even though I probably have all those relationships, I have a good GC that has a good group of subcontractors, and I feel like it's a fair trade, so I'm not down in the weeds. I have time to be looking for more property to build some others. So I've chosen that model, and he does a cost plus model. So hopefully this is a good explanation. I'd love to get your feedback on this, and look forward to doing this series. I love building, but I also love making great money on these builds and creating a good quality product for our tenants.